Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We will continue with the topic of heat treatment. In this session, we will discuss the heat treatment process for alloy steels. So far, we have discussed the TTT diagram, the time temperature transformation diagram for the case of plain carbon steel. By plain carbon steel means the significant alloying element is carbon, whereas for the case of alloying steel, we use other elements to alter the properties of the material. So the probable allying elements could be the manganese, chromium, molybdenum, nickel, tungsten, etc. Further, we know that if we consider the diffusion process, in this diffusion process for the case of plain carbon steel, the carbon diffused as the interstitial solute in the solution, whereas the other allying elements are diffused as substitutional solute in the solution. Now if we consider the TTT diagram for alloy steel, as well as we also see the TTT diagram for plain carbon steel. Now here we have the same eutectite temperature for both the cases. The martensite start and martensite finish temperature. On horizontal axis we have a log time, and vertical axis we have the temperature. Now we are considering both the plain carbon steel TTT diagram as well as the alloy steel TTT diagram. Now this is the stable phase of austenite, and here we have the austenite plus perlite and austenite plus bainite. Again here austenite plus perlite, austenite plus bainite. Now we will look carefully what are the changes are going to happen or modifications are there for the case of alloy steel, which are not there for the case of the plain carbon steel. Now the first significant effect is that in TTT diagram for the case of alloy steel we have two C curve for the perlite and two C curve for the bainite, whereas for the case of plain carbon steel we have single two the same 2C curve for the perlite as well as for the bainite. So the changes we are going to have, the number one, we have separate C curves for perlite and bainite. Now the upper we have portion we have the for the C curve for the perlite, and lower case we have the 2C curve for the bainite. Or we can say that the separate nose for perlite and the separate nose for the bainite. So this is first significant effect for the case of alloy steel, which differs from the plain carbon steel. Now the second significant effect is that these C curves are moved towards the right side or on higher temperature or on higher time side. So this is the time lag for the case of plain carbon steel, and here we see this is for the case of time lag for the bainite, and this is for the case of the perlite. Now the second significant effect we write as 2. The C curves are moved towards the right side, or we can say towards the higher time scale. And this is understandable why this is happening. The main thing behind is this, that we know that the substitutional diffusion is going to be slower as compared with the interstitial diffusion. So this is going to be the main reason why these curves are shifted towards the right side. Now this is the second significant effect. Now the third significant effect is that the nose of the C curve for the bainite are exposed now. In that case this was not exposed, and we can say if we go for the slow cooling we can produce bainite if we are considering the alloy steel TTT diagram, and this was not possible once we were looking for the plain carbon steel. So the third significant effect we can write as the continuous cooling can provide bainite, and this was not possible for the case of plain carbon steel. Now, just for own consideration, if we look that if we go for the slow cooling, if we are considering the plain carbon steel, we are going for slower cooling, we are end up with this perlite. And if we go for a very fast rate of cooling, we are end up with martensite. And what will happen for the case of intermediate cooling? Now, here for the case of plain carbon steel, if we go for the intermediate cooling, so the cooling curve is going to pass like this. Now, if we just look between the start of the C curve and the finish of the C curve. Now this is the intermediate line which is between start and the finish of the C curve. Now here we can see that by this intermediate cooling we are going to produce 50%, at least 50% of perlite, and rest 50% we produce the martensite. Now at the end we are going to have this perlite plus this martensite. So for the case of plain carbon steel, we cannot produce bainite just by continuous cooling. So with this end our discussion here. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now we will discuss hardenability of steels. While discussing various heat treatment processes, we talked about hardness, and we saw that different heat treatment processes give different hardness. But now we are talking of hardenability of steels. So before talking of hardenability, it would be better to discuss and differentiate explicitly between hardness and hardenability. Now we can define hardness as it is the mere of a resistance to plastic deformation as measured by the indentation. Let's say we have a specimen for the hardness. and we have a indenter. This is indenter to measure the hardness of the material. Now after we push the indenter in the material, now how much the indenter went inside the material is the indentation. So we can say that indentation or the hardness measures the hardness of the material. Now if the indenter, or we can say the for high hardness materials, the indenter go less in the material, and for low hardness materials the penetration of indenter is more. So we can say here the harden ability has nothing to do with the hardness. So to describe hardenability, we can say it is the ease of formation of martensite by quench. As we discussed earlier that martensite is considered to be hard and brittle material, and we take that this is the hardest material or the phase we get out of heat treatment process, and that is achieved through quenching process. Now the ease of formation of martensite by quench is described the hardenability of the material. So slow quench rate we can further elaborate as slow quench rate means high harden ability for that very material. Now let us see the time temperature transformation diagram for the case of plain carbon steel and alloy steel. And if we consider the plain carbon steel and we transform austenite by a very fast cooling rate so that it misses the nose of the C curves. So we end up with the formation of martensite. So we can say that easier for the quench, more hardenability. We can describe as the easier for quench means high harden ability. This means that if we have more allowance or we may resort to low rate of cooling, so it means we are having more hardenability. And if we see the TTT diagram for the alloy steels, and we see here that the time lag that is more for the case of producing martensite. Here we have more time lag, so it means we have more, it has provided more window for opportunity for the material to transform to martensite. So it has more hardenability. So we can say the we have high hardenability for the case of alloy steels and low harden ability for the case of plain carbon steel. As we have seen in this TTT diagram, here the time lab that is shortened at the nose as compared to the time lag that is available for the case of alloy steels. Further, the concept of hardenability is more pronounced for the case of steels. Now with this we end our discussion here. Allah Hafiz.